What I'm going to share with you today is an old classic recipe of chicken salad. Now, I have to tell you, I grew up eating chicken salad much different than I'm about to prepare you today. We used to put everything in there, and it tastes good then, but when you know better, you do better. So once I made this recipe and I realized that there's not an ounce of salt in here, table salt that is, but I'm going to share with you how we add the taste of salt to this product without you adding the table salt. This is a quick, simple recipe, and I'll go over the ingredients quickly. We have Dijon mustard, black pepper. We have craisins. Craisin is going to add our natural sweetener to it versus the pickle relish. That was one of the difference. We have chopped chestnuts. You have to be careful with the water chestnuts because it's a water product, okay? We want to make sure you drain it so your chicken salad won't be so watery. Curry powder is a great spice that we add to it to give it a little different kick. It's really good. Garlic powder. A dry parsley. I think, I always say we eat with our eyes first. Our eyes encourage our palates to receive the food. So if you can make it look good, you don't have to worry about folks saying, I don't eat that. I don't like that. Or as my pastor used to say, I'm allergic to that. That was his way of saying, I don't want it. I have fresh grapes here that I've cut and quartered. Have walnuts. Anybody have a nut allergy in here? Perfect. Okay, I have what I call the Trinity: fresh celery, onion, and garlic. I have low-fat sour cream, which is really good to give it the creamy feel and taste. And then I have a low-fat Hellmann's mayonnaise. That's really good, too. Now, one of the things I'm most proud about is I want to share this with you. Here's a great product that I found at Sam's, which is canned chicken, and it happens to have the American Heart Association symbol on it, which is really, really good. And if you want something quick, keep this. Then they have them in smaller cans, too, like tuna can size. Keep this in your pantry. So if you need something that you want to throw together really quickly for your kids or your grandkids, this is it. You want to drain it. And it comes very chunky, like so. And it's chicken breast, which is really much better than the dark meat for you. So what I'm going to do is take this chicken and chop it up a little bit, just slightly, because as I continue to add the ingredients to it, it's going to break up even more. All right, so I am going to add my Trinity, my celery, onion, and garlic to it. And, I happen to like the stuff. Most folks don't, but I'm a firm believer if you chop it up fine enough, they can't pick anything out, okay? So, so they don't have to know what's in there. So I have that. I am going to add my black pepper. Now, the recipe will tell you the amounts, but I'm a cook by taste person, and I like to taste the product after I finish so I can determine if I need to add anything. Because as a chef, I spent all those 6,000 hours on the job training, 3.5 years in culinary school, making this perfect so you don't have to do anything to it but eat it, okay? So it's a pet peeve of mine, but my grandmother said, baby, give the people what they want. But that was before we knew that eating healthy was better for you. All right, so I put my dry parsley in there, put my black pepper in there. I'm going to put my garlic powder. And I want to encourage you for this little tip, too. If you would remember in your pantry, and I encourage you all to go home and check your pantries out, we only need one salt item in our pantry. For me, that's Lawry seasoned salt because I'm a national spokesperson for them. Some people, it's sea salt. I have been told and taught that all salt comes from the same source. So we don't need garlic powder salt. We don't need lemon pepper salt. We don't need black pepper parsley salt. We just need one salt. I encourage you to get powders because the powders gives it more flavor without adding the sodium that we don't need. So I'm adding some garlic powder. And you'll be surprised that once it sits a little bit, how the flavors go through it. I have my craisins, which I'm adding to it, and just a little. My nephew likes to pick those out, and I'm going to add some grapes, fresh grapes, And you can do green, but you know, green is sometimes tart. So you want to make sure if you like that, that's not a problem. Some people put apples in it, you know, that's good too, but I don't like my meat to be too sweet, you know, so that's an alternative for you guys too. All right, so I'm mixing it up a little bit. I'm breaking up my chicken even more before I add my sour cream and mayonnaise to it because I want to be able to control it without it being, you know, too creamy and it gets lumped up a little bit. All righty. I'm going to add my curry powder to it. And you have to remember that curry is a very strong herb and spice. Well, more so a spice than an herb. An herb is a fresh product that sometimes is dried, but a spice comes from either a seed of some sort that is ground to a spice, to a fine powder substance. So with the curry, you want to add a little bit, taste, and if you think you'd like to have more, then, because this is the kind of thing that you put too much, it'll give it a bitter kind of taste to it. Although you may like that, but that's generally what happens when you've added too much. All righty. And as you can see, I'm doing more talking than it is taking me as long to make this. So this can be done really quickly, particularly if you have all the ingredients in your pantry. Okay, so I'm going to add my sour cream. Probably with this can of chicken, about 1/3 or 1/4 of a cup. And you want to remember also, now we grew up with our salads being really creamy. We had a lot of mayonnaise and, you know, that's just the way we do it. But it's not necessarily so. You'll notice that I have no eggs in here and no pickle relish. You have to remember when we add these other items to the food that we prepare, we're adding calories, okay? And if you consider the amount of calories in a product and the amount of time it takes or effort it takes to get it out of our system, you will begin to say, oh, okay, I can do without that. Because if it's gonna take you 2 days to get something out of your body that you put in, that you could avoid it, you know, especially when we don't work out every day, you will be able to make better choices. Okay, so I'm gonna add my mustard too, my Dijon mustard. Dijon mustard is high in sodium, and it's because it has the vinegar in it. So this replaces the sodium, the salt that we would generally put into our chicken salad. So I'm gonna put a couple of tablespoons of that, and that too is like the curry. You add a little bit first, and then you add more. All righty, basically that's it. I'm gonna stir and I'm gonna taste and I'm gonna share with you what I like to eat my chicken salad with. Now, we've grown up eating it between bread and all of that, but you know, there is always a different way to do something. And with this particular one, I encourage you to less the bread. That's if you could eat 1 slice. You can have bread. But generally a sandwich is with 2 pieces of bread. And with that, remember, you're adding calories. So if you gotta have a piece of bread, make sure it's brown, whole wheat, and just eat 1 slice. 1 slice is generally 60, 70 calories. There are some that are 110 per slice. So when you think of adding 2 pieces of bread, then the calories from this, and just think if you eat chips, you have a soda, I mean, you're already at 500 or 600 calories in this one meal, which is not so bad compared to the amount of burgers that's in a burger or a Happy Meal or upsized meal. You know, we're talking about up to 12 to 1,500 calories in one sitting. So we want to be mindful of the more we add, everything comes with its own calories. All righty. Now, it really looks good. It's stringy-like, and it's stringy like pulled chicken, you've seen it, which is different than fresh chicken. Fresh chicken, we have a tendency to cook it to make sure it's done, but it really gets stringy, and it's a different texture, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. And it's a little dry too. Not a lot of mayo to it. So I'm gonna taste it before you taste it to make sure it's okay. It always surprises me because, as you know, I didn't measure any of it. And so as I'm doing it, I get it right. And it's so good. So what I have, I want to show you, oh, where is it? Okay, I like to eat my chicken salad with this product. This product is another product I get at Sam's. And this is a multi-grain cracker, gluten-free. It has flax seeds in it. Flaxseed is another product that we don't get enough of in our system. So when you taste this today with your multi-grain little cracker, I hope that it will change your opinion and your thought of eating chicken salad between two pieces of bread. You know, if you do this with a side of grapes, it's a satisfier. When we eat, we should eat just to be satisfied and not to be full. That's very important. A lot of times we overeat because we like to have that full feeling. And most of the times it's that stuffed feeling. So if we can get that full feeling without being weighted down and still have the energy to get up and move around, I encourage you to look for things like that so that you can continue to do what you need to do after you've eaten versus getting lethargic like we usually do.
Thank you for coming, Chef Cassandra.
I'm so excited to be here, and it's just a great opportunity to come back to my alma mater, to be able to share my passion of cooking with so many people. Delighted.
Very delighted. I have a question for you, and my first question is, the first day you registered for the college, did you know right away that chef was your passion?
Oh, no. No. That came much later. As I shared with one of the other people, the reason why I came to Cedar Valley and subsequently some of the other junior colleges around is because as I was in school doing my 4-year degree, if I didn't do well in a class and I made, a C and sometimes even a D, I would come and take the classes over in the summertime so I wouldn't have a bad grade reflected on my transcript. Because my mom says, your grades follow you everywhere you go. And so I would come to take the classes over here in the summertime so that I could have a better grade.
Why was Cedar Valley Community College your first option? What made it your first option?
It was convenient. I lived in the neighborhood, not in the direct neighborhood, but I lived close. It was close enough for me to commute here. And then it offered the classes that I needed. At that time, it wasn't in culinary arts. It was my basics, getting through the basics of, of your four-year degree. And math was a huge problem for me.
Math is a huge problem.
I think I took math about 4 or 5 times to do better than a D. Yeah.
Wow.
And when I got a B, 2 or 3 years later, I was like, I'll take it. It was there for me every time I needed to take a course. And like I said, I took math several times to make a better grade. I mean, this is my testimony. Cedar Valley and all of the community college districts were there for me for that reason. But Cedar Valley and the junior colleges all together as a whole were there to help support me and to encourage me not to give up while I pursued my career.
How did you get started? What was your desire to pursue your career?
My feet hurt. I worked for Neiman Marcus after graduating from with my business degree from Dallas Baptist University, and we were taught to be Miss Marcus. My Jewish mom said, well, I reached that crossroad in my life, and I had started my master's in management. So she said, well, have you ever considered going to culinary school? Wow. Then she directed me to El Centro's culinary program. I pray that I've encouraged you to go on to do great things. And I know that the world is an oyster with a pearl in it for you and anyone else who desires to follow their dream.
Coming here today, it meant a lot for us in the health club since it's a new organization and we barely started. It would get hard for us, to get people to come, and you promoting the healthy stuff, healthy food, makes it look good on our club here.
Oh, good.
So I just wanted to thank you for that, and to actually show us everything and your presentation. It really meant a lot, and we just hope that you really liked coming and you had a good presentation overall, and that you felt welcomed?
Well, I did feel welcome, and again, it was like coming back home. I've been here, many times. It's a great opportunity to know that Cedar Valley does have a health initiative, because when I was here, they did not. And right now, it's so prevalent, it's so important, and it's so encouraging to know that you have that here, so that you too become a voice to the mass public in reference to how to eat healthy and knowing what that is. And I hope that, maybe something that I've shared with you today or demonstrated today, will help to go a little further in encouraging other people.